About 30% of inmates getting out of prison in Wisconsin end up back inside prison within 3 years of their release. A conservative-leaning think tank says Wisconsin should be doing more to ready prisoners for their re-entry into society. The Wisconsin Policy Research Institute has been looking at what works in corrections here in the state and around the country. And WIPRI President Mike Nichols joins us now to talk about that on Up Front. Mike Nichols, good to have you back on the program.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
You're really focusing, your organization is focusing on this corrections reform idea. What do you hope to accomplish with this new focus?
You know, we just don't think the state can really thrive and prosper unless we really take a look at how we incarcerate people and what happens to them after we incarcerate them. So we really are hoping that we can have a real conversation in Madison and elsewhere on both sides of the aisle about how we can do a better job of how and why we lock people up in this state.
I was struck by the fact that in 1990, there were 7,300 people in Wisconsin prisons. Today, there are nearly 23,000.
It's a stunning statistic. We incarcerate 3 times as many people now as we did in 1990. It is interesting, though. You have to look and see where the real growth was, and that was mostly in the 1990s. You look back and you think that not only are we incarcerating 3 times as many people, we're spending 7 times as much money, Mike, as we did in 1990 on DOC, on the Department of Corrections, and that just is not sustainable.
We're spending as much money on corrections as we are on the UW system, correct?
We spend more money locking people up and supervising them in this state than we do on higher education. That's a troubling reality. We spend $1.2 billion on DOC, and that's just state tax dollars. There's not a lot of federal money that flows into DOC.
Your report looks at what some other states are doing. Yeah. What are other states doing differently than Wisconsin?
Well, one of the things we want to do is make people aware of all the changes that have happened elsewhere in the country. And one of the places that really there's been tremendous reform in the last 10 years is Texas, right?
Texas.
Which I think is one of the reddest states in the union, where I think the perception still for many of us is that they lock everybody up forever. You know, they're locking up people in Texas who threw a gum wrapper on the sidewalk. That's not the reality. In recent years, the levels of incarceration have gone down substantially by about 20,000 fewer people now incarcerated in Texas than was the case not that long ago. But crime rates have also dropped pretty dramatically. And honestly, part of that was just driven by economics, as I think some of the change here will be that, again, we just can't afford to spend the amount of money that we do locking people up. But we also need to make sure that we have the workforce to help our businesses grow and help our economy move forward. And we have this sort of ready-made interested workforce. Unfortunately, a lot of folks are locked up or are out, but have not really been able to successfully reintegrate into society.
So more treatment, more education, more training, those are all part of the possible solutions?
That's so we've highlighted what's working elsewhere in the country, things like Hope for Prisoners, a program in Las Vegas, some work programs in Kansas that are unique, that haven't been worked here, haven't been used here. Also some programs here that have been successful, the Alma Center in Milwaukee. So we think there should be more of a direct pipeline from DOC into some of these programs. We also think there are some changes in funding, a use of social impact bonds and some a way to kind of spur private investment. And in the future, very quickly, we're going to be really working to facilitate some more research on not just decreasing recidivism, but decreasing revocations. 4 out of 10 people, Mike, who go into the prison system in this state every day are not going in for a new crime. They're going in because their supervision has been revoked for some reason that's not related to a new crime. So we really need to look at that and whether or not we really need to be sending low-risk folks back behind bars.
I've got just a few seconds left. There are a number of prominent conservatives around the country who support the kinds of things you're talking about. But the question I have is, does the governor support this? Is there support in the legislature for this? I've not seen the governor be a big proponent of the kinds of things you're talking about.
We think there is support in the legislature for sure. I testified last week before a Legislative Council Study Committee on Reducing Recidivism that's chaired by Representative Rob Hutton and Senator Alberta Darling, 2 pretty conservative people. And I can tell you that there's an appetite there and among others in the legislature. Haven't had any direct contact with the governor, but I think that he's interested in a conversation from what I'm told.
Mike Nichols is the president of the Wisconsin Policy Research Institute. It's good to have you back on the program.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.
Coming up next, the new study that should worry Democrats.